Hey everyone, this is number 2. So this is my top 5 marketing channels for local businesses. In case you missed my previous video, we went over number 1. We're on number 2 today, or day 2 of these top marketing channels for local businesses. And so what I want to lay out here is, again, just to reinforce the fact that when you harness the power of these 5 marketing channels that I'm about to lay out each day, is that you will see is that building a strategy around this can greatly improve your chances of success when deploying a system like this. And so not only that, it really can push you to another level where basically you will be hitting 5 to 10x ROI, if not greater. And so again, I've seen clients who've hit over 10x ROI from their SEO efforts alone. So when you really truly harness the power of these 5 marketing channels, it's really limitless, really. So it's it's what you're willing to commit to your business and what you need to do in order to succeed. And so that really is what it boils down to. So without further ado, I want to get to number 2. And so let me see here. Number 2, Google My Business page. This, over the past 3 to 4 years, if not maybe 5 years, has become an absolute must for local businesses. Whether you're, again, an HVAC, roofer, dental practice, if you're doing, junk removal, whatever it may be, for a local business, this is like an absolute must. It's not even like a great to have. It's just, you need to, all your competitors are really, they all have a Google My Business page. If you don't have one, you're well, you're just, you're far behind the pack. But there's not, all hope is not lost for you. I would say, in addition to getting, the first step would be get your Google My Business page published and put out there if you don't already. For those who do have this already in place, and for other people who already are in the digital marketing space that work on these things already, there has been a huge shift over the past year into the way that we just had actually an update. And so this video is being shot in January 13th, and so we had an update that occurred last month that really, a lot of the sites that we are managing all took kind of a hit, right? So that was from a huge core update that was done off Google My Business page. So we're seeing more and more that more focused, and I actually didn't lay it out here. I should have listed it here, but I'll name it as the number 1 point as we go through this. The bullet points is reviews. You need to build a fair amount of reviews for your Google My Business page. Now, so best practice that we typically follow when we look or work on a site or Google My Business page is we'll look at the top 10, right? And so we look at the top 10 businesses or competitors ranking for a specific keyword or a couple of specific broad, high volume keywords in the area. And what we do is we look at the top 10 and we take the average number of reviews of the top 10, and we work towards having that or setting that as a goal to get there if our client doesn't already have that number of reviews on his site or her site. So basically that's a goal that we implement and put into place. So the other pieces to this, now again, this can get very, very extensive. It's almost like, when it comes down to website and a Google My Business page, a website is a fair amount of work to get done and optimize and do all the things that's needed there, especially when it comes to off-page link building and things like that. But basically, when it comes to a Google My Business page, there's a lot of pieces to this that really, to set you up for success and to set you up to be, for your business to rank well on Google in the map pack. You really need to have at least these things at a minimum, and if not, we can get, this topic we can get very deep. But I want to at least provide you with baseline pieces of information that it will be extremely valuable, that will help you rank and again move your business towards getting a 5 to 10x ROI when you put this all together with 5 marketing channels. And so you need to properly optimize your business page. So you need to fully complete all of the sections in your Google My Business on the back end. So you just want to make sure that every single section is completed and is up to date. So your service hours, your location, all the services that you provide. Once you get into those services, you want to provide a little bit 1 to 2 sentence description, a little bit of information, I would say. So a couple sentence description about each service. And that's pretty important, because you want to make sure, if you're a local business and you do like 6 or 7 different services, you want to make sure you have them listed there, and as well as with a brief description properly optimized, again with some keywords in there, not overdoing it, but definitely that is pretty important that what we've seen from like an on page, I would say, Google My Business standpoint. And so the other piece is you also need to post at least 3 times a week, at least initially once you get going. And this could be depending on what you see as far as rankings that you're getting in your industry. So every area is different, right? So every geography and every industry is slightly different, but for the most part, if we use this as a baseline to try to as putting goals and working towards as working goals, I would say you would want to post at least 3 times a week. They don't have to be long posts, they can be short posts, but very informative posts. And then even further from that, you can do a thing called daisy daisy linking. So it's where you lay out the post and then you link, or you provide a link in each of those posts to the previous post. And what you're doing is, at some point when you do link building in the future, you're harnessing the power of Google by utilizing previous posts. But we can get into a topic or get into that specifically on another day. But basically that is a tactic within that, what you can do, because we can go deep on any of these. And so you should also, as a local business, if not, when you start your local business page, you should at least have 12 pictures on your site, like between 10 and 12, I would say. And at least 2 of those, if you were to start a Google My Business page today, put up 12 pictures, at least 2 of those pictures should be a picture of your exact location where you are, right? So if you're a bakery, you work on a main road like 437 State Road, you'd want to have a picture outside of your business showing the business, and then a picture inside maybe of showing your staff. That's pretty important. I've noticed is that when it comes to Google My Business, they don't like a lot of stock photos and things like that put on there. The things that tend to do a lot better is when you geotag these photos, and they're photos like taken from a cell phone or from a phone within an area. So that there's ways of looking on the back end on the EXIF data of a photo, so that way you could actually plug in latitude and longitude. But again, we can go deep on this, but I wanted to provide you some basic pieces of information of what you need to get started and moving towards that tremendous goal of 10x in your ROI. And so you also want to at least have 100 business citations, preferably some niche as well as local business citation, like so more niche based maybe in your area versus some general in your area, I would say. So again, 100 of those. And also there's a thing we call Google stacking, where you would utilize the power and authority of Google to link build and to build power towards a Google My Business page. And so you would do this by utilizing various things like creating a Google form, PDF, utilizing Google Images. There's a thing that Google has a product or asset dubbed as Google Sites. You want to use one of those sites, and then also utilizing Google Calendar. There's ways of doing this that we can get, again, very deep on, but when you Google stack, you really are utilizing the power of Google to push a lot of authority towards your Google My Business page. And not just that, is you just to lay all of this out, anytime you do any kind of link building, you want to make sure that your name, address, and phone is consistent across all pieces of information that is out there on the web. And so when you do any kind of things like link building with Google properties, you always want to list like your name of your business with the address and phone, and making sure that's consistent wherever you place it on the web. And then the next step after this, which is going into link building a little bit more, is to embed your citations across the web. And so there's various services out there where people will push that out, so that way you can have actually on imagery, you will have your NAP, they call it, your name, address, and phone on the back of an image that you might be placed on your Google My Business page, on like another site, like when you utilize Web 2.0s, they call them, right? And so you can put them on sites like WordPress.com, the actual WordPress.com, not the WordPress site, and sites like that. And basically, and then the last piece, because I don't want to go on too much further, I'm trying to keep these all less than 10 minutes each, is that you could also, or you should utilize press releases. And so it's great. you typically will get a little bit of a spike in ranking when you do that on a consistent basis. And so you could do it like once a month, once every other month, as a business owner. And it could be anything, just announcing a new event or service offerings, or anything about new employees being hired to a business, or expanding services, whatever it may be. Writing a properly optimized press release, and plugging your NAP information on that press release. I mean, this does really good for helping rankings for a Google My Business page. So again, this is number 2 of a 5-part series, and so I wanted to lay out here how, some of the tactics and strategies that we're utilizing in our agency, and what you can do here when you harness the power of 5 marketing channels to really drive more authority and more traffic and business to more traffic and leads to your business. And again, this system, when combined, is truly powerful. And so I wanted to lay this out and say today's Digital Marketing Ninja Tips is brought to you by me, right? So stay tuned for the 3rd video, which will be coming up in the series, and take care, everyone.